All right, this is Daf Yomi in motion number 794. Today we're going to learn Daf Ayin Daled in Bab Metzia, and we're going to be speaking about Pisuk Damim. That when as we spoke about a lot up until now, a person will give money for a commodity before the commodity is finished the malacha, and he intends to paying not money now, and he'll get the commodity later. So we had the Mishnah on Ayin Beis Hamid Beis that brought down several cases of when this can be done. One was the Godish wasn't yet finished. The other one was the wine in the vat, the grape, the olives in the vat, the zevel. So more is going to go through each one. The more begins on the top line of Ayin Dal and Amid Aleph. Omar Rava, Hani Bey Tulsa. Diyave Zuze Lechad Mizovan Lehu Midi. Person gave, three people gave money to one person to buy them something. Zovan Lechad Menahu, Zovan Lekulhu. That if he took the money of one of them and bought it, so he is, and obviously didn't buy the quantity that he would have bought if he had the money of everybody, but that amount that he bought with the money of one of them will be for all of them. All of them will be owners of that. Lo Amran, when do we say such a thing? Lo Amran, that all of them will buy it, even though it's used with one person's money. Lo Amran elad lo tsar v'chosim inish l'chude. That's when he didn't collect money from each one, sign on like a contract that this was his purchase this was his money for the purchase. About tsar v'chosim inish l'chude. So that, but if he had taken each one's money and designated that this one is this person's money for this purchase, and then he would have used that person's money for the purchase. So leman de zovin zovin, leman de lo zovin lo zovin, and so then it would be only his, and it wouldn't have been all of theirs. Omer of Papi, Mishmedu Rava. Send the name of Rava. It's a high situmta, the sim-tumta, kanya. Meaning that a situm is when a person will put a stamp on a barrel of wine in the wine cellar, and then it's known that that's his. And because he doesn't take it all at once, he buys many barrels, and then he takes them over time, and all of the ones that have the stamp on it, he can take. So it says that it's kanya, it's mamash his, without doing a mashicha, just having a stamp that it's his, that's his, that's kanya. So what do we mean kanya? Rav Chaviva Omar Lemikniya means mamish. Means mamish kona to him, it's his. But Rabbanin Omre Lekabuli Ole Mishapar. That only for the purpose that if he will then retract his money, then he will have a mishapar. He's given money, and then they stamp the barrels. So the Rabbanan say only for the purpose that he will have a mishapar. The hilchasa, the halacha is likbulei ole mishapar. The halacha is like that the stamp only helps. It's only a kinyan for the purpose, because that's the chachamim, the rov. It's only for the purpose of a mishapar, but it's not. However, in a place where they allow this stamp to be a real kinyan, uba astra de nehigu. Lemikne, mamish kane. However, in a place where they do allow this stamp to be a real kinyan, so then it is kane. But the Mishnah told us on Ayin Beis Hamid Beis.
The comment here says that it's not along with paying; it's instead of paying. He makes the mark on the barrel instead of paying, and he gets a mishapar if he retracts.
Very good. So this will therefore say that the stamp is the kinyan without the money, and then when we talk about a mishapor, we get a mishapor for retracting after the stamp was put on the barrel. So the Mishnah told us Haya hu techil lekaisrim, in the case where the person was the first one to harvest his field, and he had it, and it was in the unfinished, the tvua, the produce was piled up in the unfinished state. It still had more malachas to go through. But a person can be posek mammon on that in order to receive it later. He'll pay less, he'll receive it later, and we said it will work since he has the Godesh there present, it won't be considered so b'so. In fact, he's paying money now, and he's going to be getting something worth more later. So Omar Rab, it's Machlokes Rabbi Shmuel, Legabi Omar Rab, Mechuser Shtaim Pisuk, Shlosh Eno Pisuk. If produce which is being bought at any moment still has malachas to do on it, so Rab says that if it's still got 2 more malachas to finish off, then you can be Pisuk with it. It's still considered close enough to when the shar will come out on it that you can still do a deal like this, give money and receive it later. And however, if it's got 3 malachas before the shar will come out, before it'll be a finished project, and you'll know what the actual shar will be, so then you cannot make a deal on this, pay money and receive this produce. Shmuel Amar bidei adam afilu meya Pisuk. Bidei Shemaim afilu achas eno Pisuk. Shmuel says that if any of the malachas that this still has to go through are malachas that a person has to do to it, so then you can have as many malachas as you want, and we can still be posak, even though the shar will come out later. But if it's any malachas that we need, like natural events to bidei Shemaim to take care of, like we need the wind or the sun, so then even if there's just one more step in the process, you cannot buy it at that earlier stage, because you never know if the conditions that are needed will come about. Maybe it'll be a cloudy day for the next however long it's mine. Maybe it'll rain. Maybe it will be. It's not for sure that the conditions will come. Tanan, we learn in our Mishnah, Pisuk imo al hagodish. Now we're going to go through all the cases of our Mishnah and apply the shitas of Rav Shmuel, because if a person was posek on the Godish to buy it and receive it later when it's finished, so how can we say we said it was fine? Because it's available, they can make that type of a transaction, but it's lacking many steps in the avodah. What is it, mechusa? Mishada bechama. It's mechusa, drying it out, throwing it into the sun. Lemeivash, right? Lemeidash, and then to do the disha. Lemeidash, midra, and to throw it up into the air, the winnowing. So it's missing right there. It's missing 4 stages.
3.
That's right. Throwing it into the sun, drying it out. Mishada bechama, lemeivash. Right, that's 1. To dry it out. Right, 3 stages. Keep going. So how does it work? According to Rav, it shouldn't be. Amisha says that you can do such a transaction. According to Rav, you shouldn't be able to do this transaction because it has 3 more steps in the process. And for the Gemara, Kagon, to show the bechama the yovash. So it had gone through the first stage. So it only had 2 more stages to go through. That's what we were talking about in the Mishnah, in the Godish. That's why it was muter according to Rav. But according to Shmuel, the last stage is winnowing. We need the wind to blow it. Even if there's only 1 step, if it's something that we need the nature for, that therefore it can't make the deal. We still needs the winnowing, which we need the wind. And for the Gemara, this is that's something which is natural. We need the shemayim to take care of that. So, and for the Gemara, efshar bin nifusa, we could still accomplish that by having somebody with a big fanning with the huge fan and blowing. As the person blows up the chaff will blow away. The Mishnah then said, "Va'al ha'avit shel anavim." Also, we can make a transaction on an avit shel anavim with a big vat where that they put the grapes in before the dricha, before stepping on them. So it's also missing several steps. Vaha mechusa. What's a mechusa? Mechusa, the michmor is the chimum. You have to heat it up. By ule lebe matzarto and bringing it to the gat, the big place to put all the grapes. Where they're going to step on it. Ulamidash and dricha, they're stepping on it. Uliminogad, which is the after it's been stepped on, to make sure that all the wine goes into the hole, which were the storage area for pure wine. So see, it's missing 4 steps over here. So how can it be that it's mutter? According to Rav, kidesoni, Rav Chia, ala koimer shel zeisim. So that we're referring, just as Rav Chia was his shot on the zeisim, was that we were referring to put it into the big huge vat, which was the earliest stages. We're talking about putting it into one of the later stages, into the koimer shel zeisim. Hachanami ala koimer shel anovim. So we took care of like the Rashi, where we are, the more up about 4 lines. Ala koimer shel zeisim, tzanan b'masnisin matan tanan le ihu b'masnisin b'lashon koimer. So that means lashon koimer loimer shkfa nischamamu, meaning it's already past the stage of heating it up. That's what it meant. The koimer is a type of a vessel where they heat it up. So we're talking about skipping the first stage of michmar, of heating it up. But the more of it, mechusi tlos. Right, that was part of the question. Right, even after we say that it's holding by, it's already been heated up. It's still missing 3 more steps of malacha. Mechusrei tlos, and for the Gemara, that even though it seems like it's lacking 3 steps, one of those steps, when a person buys it, he takes care of the last step. So it's really only missing 2 steps. That's why it can still be sold at this stage. Because we're dealing with a place to asur dehahu dezavin, whoever buys it, who dinagi. He's the one that makes sure that pushes the wine from the gat in the storage place for the pure wine. When the Mishnah said ve'al hamatan shel zeisim, also they can buy olives at that stage when it's just in the vat holding the freshly picked olives. V'ha mechusa, it's missing michmar, the heating it up. Ve'ulule lebe dafe, bring it to the place where they squeeze the grapes. The midash and the beidave, and then the meidash and the actual treading on the or swishing the olives. Luminogad, and then making sure all the oil goes into the hole where they store the pure oil. Tony, so here we had 4 steps that still were remaining. So Tony Rebbe Chia al koimer shel zeisim. We were talking about it already skipped the first stage. We're talking about that it had already been heated up. Ha ika tlos, there's still 3 more. Asra da hu dezavin hu de minagi. So he's the one that sweeps it, pushes it into the hole where they store the pure oil. And the Mishnah said,
it's exactly the same as the case with the olives. with the grapes.
So yeah, it's
Why did they tell us two exactly the same cases?
it's for us to know at each case that it's for sure not going against Rab Shita.
Even though there's no Kiddush. So they're usually a Kiddush for each
Because
case.
we just have to verify how it was, because it is missing these. We have to verify that this was talking about, how, or that it wasn't really 3 steps. Just because we said something by grapes doesn't mean that that's what was being the same exact case of the olives. So you have to go through each one. I don't know if we can just assume if it's right. They didn't just want to assume that it was the same exact case until we verify it. So then the Mishnah told us ve'ala beitzim shel yotzer. This is talking either we learned before, it was pieces of metal clumps that they used to make the kedeiros. Could be referring to clay, but Rashi mentioned matkos before, so it's probably talking about different type making. So it seems like it's talking about clay vessels in the okay. So the beitzim was balls of clay. Ala beitzim shel yoitza. So also in that stage when they're just clumps of clay, they can also buy them at that stage. Vaha mechusa, it's missing different forms of work. Lefufe. This is the rolling them. Right, to roll them in a way that it's going to make an indentation in the clay, that they can start to make a vessel from it, according to how big you want your clay to be. Then you need the abushi to dry it out, and then putting it into the kiln into the kivshan, the misoref for firing it. Then after that, Lumepak, you have to take it out of the kiln. Right. We're going. So how could it be it's lacking here? 4 steps. So how can it be? It's Kash and Rab. Keep going.
I think it's 5. Shaping, drying, putting it in, firing, taking it out.
Right, putting it in and then firing it and taking it out. 5. Very good. And keep going. We're talking about the miliforfa v'yaveshu. It had already been shaped. Rashi, where we are, they're going up 2 lines. They're still called beitzim. You might think they're not called beitzim. They've been indented. Lahu. Because right, the clay is mixed with water, and they're still called round balls, even though they're indented. They also were dried out. So they still have 3 stages. We're dealing with a place with the be'asra de who dezaven who demapik. The one who buys it takes it out of the kiln. But then the Mishnah said ve'ala sid, lime. So the sid shakenu bakivshan. What they used to do is they used to and it was just put into the and they put it into the oven. The lime was put into the oven, heated up. And put the eight seam also in to keep the fire going, to make the fire hot inside the oven. Still missing something. Makle, fuke made that, burning it. You put the ingredients into the oven, but you didn't burn it. You didn't take it out, and you didn't crush down the lime into mix it with water and then turn it into powder. As for the whoever bought it, Hahu Daik, he's the one who crushes it down, mixes it with water, Rashi says, and then dries it out again, and then you can crush it, make it into powder. And the Shmuel, to Omar Bidei Odam, according to Shmuel, that says that if there's one step that needs that Bidei Shmayim, that you cannot be posek, you can't make a transaction on it, or filu meya posek. So according to him, that you can have as many steps as you want, as long as it's something which a person will be doing. So why did it say that Mishayishaknu the kivshan, that once they put it into the oven, the lime and the wood, then you can make the transaction, even if it was earlier that. Ema, all you had to say is once you misharoi lishaku bekivshan, if you just had it ready to put into kivshan, it would have been good enough, because it's just also a malacha that a person, it's b'dei adam. Then the Mishnah said, so we're going back to what we said about the clay balls. Alabeitzim shel yotzer, Tana Rabbanan. Skin alabeitzim, that you cannot. You have a brisa that says you can't make a purchase on the beitzim at that early stage when they're just clay balls. Shel yotzer ad shiyasu divrei Rebbe Meir, until they're mamish made into a vessel, and then we know how much they're worth. So Amar Rabbi Yossi Bamed Devar Mamarim, that you need them to be more at an advanced stage in order to buy them. Ofar lavan. If you're dealing with clay, white clay, it's not so common, not so available, so a person wouldn't really be samach das to put money down on it if he didn't know that it was if it was the right on a clay like that it is harder to get. Rashi, where we only more up 4 lines, but ofar lavan she'enu matzui. It's not so common because shehayu machnisin oiso, when they would ein machnisin oiso ela migoval va'asui beitzim. Right. So Rabbi Yossi says, when do you need it to be really available in your hands? See, Rabbi Meir is not talking about having the vessels made. Just the beitzim have to be mamish there. You can't be Pisuk on them at that early stage if he doesn't have them in his hand. He has to, the beitzim, the lumps of clay, balls of clay have to be there. Rabbi Yossi says the only time you need them there, the lumps, the balls of clay, like available for the when you're buying them, is when it's white clay, because it's harder to get. So in order for him to be samach das, that when he's giving money to be buying something, he has to know that it's there. Baba offer shachor, but Rabbi Yossi holds that if it was black clay, dark clay, then you can be posik even on them at the early stage of when they're just balls of clay, even when he doesn't have them all available. Kfar Chananya, they're available in the following places: Kfar Chananya, Kfar Shichin, Chaburtei. So in places like that, even though he doesn't have it in his hand, he knows he can get it. Once he has your money, it's available and it's like he has it. Meimar Yoiv Zuze, he gave Zuze Mechi Maile Afora. Soon he needed it to be like available. When it was there, he gave the money only when the clay was there. Come on. Rashi, where we are on the Gemara, it says, "Mechi aile afar, v'shehichnis hamoicher, v'tzaber ofar bebeso, ofar shechorai." He takes it and then he makes it into the clay balls. The seller doesn't come in clay balls. He gets the dirt, and then he processes it into clay balls, which is still an early stage. But Ameimar, he would only buy it when the ofar at least was already in the house of the moichem. So who's that going like? It can't be going like Rebbe Meir, because Rebbe Meir requires that the balls are made already. And if it's going according to Rebbe Yossi, it doesn't even have to have them at all. So why did Ameimar say that he waits till the early first ingredient is there in the house of the Moichem? Iki Rebbe Meir de Omar ad shiyase yasu. So it can't be that. So it's not good. It wouldn't be good enough. He's not going like Rebbe Meir. Iki Rebbe Yossi. Rebbe Yossi wouldn't require that any part of it be there in the beginning. And for the Gemara, Rebbe Yossi, really, Ameimar was going like Rebbe Yossi. Just that he's dealing in a place, Ube Asre de Ameimar Ashik Afra. Just that in his place, the even black clay, dark clay is expensive. And therefore, for him to have smichas das, that he's to give money and to expect to really get something, he has to know that at least the afra, that to make the clay balls is in the house of the moichem. And that's why if the mocher at least has the ingredients to make the clay, then he will give over the money. He'll be samach das to give the money to make such a purchase. There wouldn't be enough smichas das for a purchase like this to go through. We said that the Chachamim said, even if it's not there, Rabbi Yossi in the Mishnah on Ayin Beis, Amid Beis said that in order according to Rabbi Yossi, you have to have all the zevel there in this place, the big vat where they keep zevel. Because zevel is maybe it could even be straw that got stamped on is also zevel. So the Mishnah said, "V'poisek imo ala zevel." So Tanakama said that you can just, even if it's not there, it can be posted on the zevel. Rabbi Yossi said it has to all be there, and then said the Chachamim said they were matter. They were matter. What were they matter? Even when it wasn't all there, we'll see. Even when but that's the same sheet that we'll see later in the Gemara. That's the same sheet as the Tanakama. So the Gemara is going to vary the Chachamim that we're talking about, which season they're referring to, that it doesn't have to be there. One season there's more zevel than the other. In summer there's more zevel than in the winter, because the winter it's getting trampled on, and it's getting, by the summertime it's all ready and everybody has the Pisuk imo ala zevel. You can make a purchase on the zevel in the earliest, even if it doesn't all. Kol yimo yisashana, that's the Tanakama. Anytime you want, even if he doesn't have it all. Because the reasoning is, because if he doesn't have it, and he has money, he can buy it from other people. There's always somebody else you can buy it from. Chachamim, Hainu Tanakama, that was a Chachamim. B'diuk the Chachamim that said matirim, after Rebbe Yossi said it has to be available, the Chachamim matirim, that's exactly the same sheet as the Tanakama. And for the Gemara, Tanakama, Omar Rava answers, the difference between the Tanakama and the Chachamim is that when the Chachamim say that you can just make a deal on zevel, something which is available somewhere, the seller could sell it to buy it from someone, that is even in the most gishamim. But the Chachamim or matirim, Rabbi Yossi required it to be available at that time of this transaction. And the Chachamim matirim, as long as it, even if it's not around, as long as it's in the most chama, in the summertime, after when everybody has their zevel that was produced already from the winter. Pisuk imo, the Mishnah then said that a person is allowed to make a transaction and to require from the meicher that he will receive the commodity at the lowest possible shar, that's what he's expecting to get, because he's not expecting to get the commodity, the produce given to him all at once when he gives the money anyway. He's expecting for it to be distributed to him over time. So he's telling him that my intention with this transaction is to get the best shar that is out on the market, and that gives him a certain flexibility to back out of the deal. So the Pisuk imo kishar hagavoa, shar hagavoa, again, like we said, doesn't mean the highest, it means the best price, when you can get the most produce for your money, when the produce is really cheapest. It's called gavoa because then you can get most with a lot of produce for a little bit of money. Hahu gavra could be the so could be called the shar gavoa because it's when that produce became very plentiful in the shuk, so therefore the supply was very high, and that's when the price dropped. Hahu gavra the yoyev zuze linedunya to bei chamua. There's a chassan who was dealing for his father-in-law. The father had given him money to go and buy the takshitim for the kala, and arrange with the seller the purchase. Money would be given in the takshitim would be forthcoming, would come later. So he arranged with the seller, the chassan. So when he got there, the price, so the Gemara explains, the Beichamua, the Saif Zal Nidunya. Later, the price of the Nidunya dropped, and he had already given the money at the higher price. But now the price of that, what he wanted to buy, the Takshitim was much cheaper. He could have gotten it's a better time. Later, it was a better time to be buying. So Osulik made the Rav Popo, and the father-in-law he wanted to cancel the Iska because he didn't want the lower rate. The father-in-law didn't want him to. He wanted to cancel the deal because he wanted the lower rate. He didn't want it at the higher rate when they were first posak Damim. So they went to Rav Papa to know if they could get out of the deal. So Osulik made the Rav Papa Omalei pasikt imo kishah gavoa shakel kehashta. If you made a deal in the beginning, it was the son-in-law was the shliach, that this whole transaction is being done according to the lowest possible shah that will come out on the shuk. Then now that it's lower, you can collect now, get the distribution given to you at the lower rate. But if that wasn't stipulated in the beginning, shakel ki meikor. But if not, then you have to go all according to what the rate was at the time when the money was given. So Omru le Rabbanan Rav Papa, the Rabbanan said to Rav Papa, lo posak shakel ki meikor. Why should you say? You're telling me that if they didn't make up, then he has to go according to the rate at which the money was first given. Why? What's happening over here? The only thing given was money. No produce was marshach. There was no mashiach. So ma'isninu. Ve'ilo posak shakel ki meikor ma'isninu. The only thing given was money. That was a deal of money being given. Ma'is lo kanu. Ma'is are not kaina. Like we learned, we had the sugi in Hazav. Most are not kaina. The only thing was that there's a mishapur for someone who backs out. There's a machlokas, Rabbi Shimon and the Chachamim. Rabbi Shimon and the Chachamim. Rabbi Shimon. Chachamim held that really mice are we'll see, the Gemara will explain it. The mice lo kanu. So then, if they're not konu, why can't he back out now? So Omar Lahu, no, when I told you, Papa said, when I told you that he can't back out, so Onanami, the Kabuli Ole Mishapara, Ka'amina. I was only saying in regards to him not getting a Mishapara. He shouldn't back out. He should take the Shar, which was Miyakor, in order not to get a Mishapara, because if he will back out, it's true, he could back out because mice are not Kaina, but there'll still be a Mishapara, so he shouldn't back out. Stipulated in the beginning that he wants the best rate. So Moicher Kahada Bay. So what Papa was saying, that if the stipulated, so if that they wants the best rate, so if the Moicher would back out after having stipulated that he wants to, because he doesn't want to give him the best rate. If the Moicher at that point, when he says, give me the best rate, the father-in-law said, give me the best rate. If the Moicher would say, okay, I'm canceling the deal, so Makabel Oleg, Moicher Mishapura, he will get a Mishapura. Ilo Posak, and if they didn't stipulate that he was only giving this money on condition that he would get the lowest shar, so Ilo Posak Lokeach Kahadabay, if the Lokeach would then back out of the deal, Kahadabay, Mikabel Ole Lokeach Mishapur. That's what Rav Papa was just trying to say. The Lokeach, who would be the father-in-law or the son who's the shliach, would get a Mishapur. So don't back out. Omalei Ravina, the Rav Papa, Ravina then asks, if that's your pshat in that case that we're talking about, that in only regards to the Mishapur, that the person who stipulated or didn't stipulate that he wants the lowest rate, if that's your only concern. So Amalei Ravina, the Rav Papa, this was said in the name of the Rabbanan in our Mishnah, is the Tanakama, who's also being, that they themselves were also saying that in our Mishnah, that in Ayin Beis, Amid Beis, the end of the Mishnah, it said, the Pisuk Imo Bishar Hagavoa. That's the Tanakama, that you can make a deal to be that you can be Pisuk with, and that you only want the best rate, meaning that if you did stipulate, then you will get the low. You'll be able to demand the best rate, and if you didn't stipulate, you won't be able to demand. And if you do back out, there will be a mishapara. There was Rabbi Yehuda afterwards. Rabbi Yehuda Omer. It was Rabbi Yehuda that said that even if you don't make up, you don't make up. You don't stipulate. Said you have to stipulate it. So that's what Ravina is asking on Rav Papa, because he told him, Ravina, Omar le Ravina le Rav Papa, umamai, the Rabbanan he. Why are you saying that this is a pshat? That it's also according to the Rabbanan that we're cholok and Rabbi Shimon in Perek Hazav. Umamai, the Rabbanan, this is the Rabbanan, the Peligi Ole de Rabbi Shimon. To Omrei, the Rabbanan said, Ma'is lakanu. Mice are never kanu. According to the Rabbanan, mice are never kanu. And therefore, it was only there that either of them could back out. Either in the case in Azav, either the Lokeach who had given money, or the Moiche could back out, according to the Rabbanin, because it wasn't kanu anyway, mice. But there would be a mishapor for whoever backs out. Even though that they said that the Moses is not kind, there would be a mishapor. But you have to have you still needed them to have had Filo achi I posak kishar gavoa shakil kidahashta. See Rashi, where we are in the just opposite, where we are in the Gemara, up about 2 lines. Why? Why should we say? Rapapa should say is pshat. This is going according to our Mishnah, which is according to the Chachamim. Umimai demasnisin demitzrich le'agvo. Why are you saying this pshat? In our Mishnah, they have to be making an agreement in the beginning, according to the Shar Gavoa. A few Rabbanan, you're saying it even according to the Rabbanan. Ka'amar. To Peligi Olei to Rabbi Shimon, Beperek Azov. He was cholok on Rabbi Shimon over the Omrei to Lokeach. And they said that the Lokeach, Yochol Lachzo Bo Kimoicha, that both of them can go back on a deal, technically, because the money that was given, there was no Mashiach on the transaction, only money was given, and both of them could back out technically, Al Pidin. But whoever would back out would get a Mishapar, the curse. The Chozabo. Below, and then over there, it was a case where it doesn't matter what happened. They were dealing with a normal transaction that they expected, giving money, and it's theoretically he was supposed to be acquiring the object at that moment. It wasn't like here, giving money, and he would get it distributed to him over time. He was buying an object for immediate taking. And also over there, so Misha, the Rashi says, so af below over there, again, whoever would back out, it would have a mishapora. B'choizebo, af below nishtana hashar. Over there would be a mishapora. Even over there was no discussion of the shar fluctuating. It was just even if the shar stayed exactly at what it was in the beginning when he had first given the money, if he would back out, it would be a mishapora. And not only that, well, filu hachi, I'm reading b'masnisin ki nishtana hashar. And so, and even according to this, so we're still saying that the Chachamim are requiring him to have stipulated the best shar. And over here in our Mishnah, where the shar is fluctuating, you might think that the Chachamim, who allow anyone to back out, both the Lokeach and the Moicher, so over here when the shar fluctuated, there's more reason that the Chachamim should allow them even stipulated in the beginning, because here there's a reason for him to back out, because there's a lower shar, and people usually put their money down for the best rate. So he has a reason here, and yet we're still learning this Mishnah, and according to Rabbi Papa, this is how we're learning this Mishnah, that if they stipulate it in the beginning, then you won't get your Mishapora. He said it's all totally on the Mishapora. You can back out, and you won't get the Mishapor. And if you didn't stipulate it in the beginning, so then there will be a Mishapor. Even the Rabbanan are saying there will be a Mishapor if he didn't stipulate in the beginning. And the Rabbanan should maybe be allowing him to back out even without a Mishapor, because here in market price, and he has a reason to back out. And now Ikaradin, he's allowed to back out. And the Rashi continues, V'ikal Meimar, who you could answer that, why would the Rabbanan be different over here? There is, to say here, a difference between, in the according to the run, a difference between the two cases, like we just mentioned. Since this case is different than the case in Hazav, because he's not giving the money to get it right now, he's giving it to have it distributed to him over time. And within that time period, the market dropped, and now he just wants his money back. You would think there's a tzad for the Rabbanan to say that he should be able to back out without a mishapor. Kach nishtana hashar. Kach nishtana hashar. The shar went down, and the das of a person is that he always wants the best deal. Daite atara zila, and his das is always on the lowest rate. So if it ends up in the middle of the year, the rate hits rock bottom, he wanted that rate. So maybe there, the Rabbanan, we could say according to the sheet of the Rabbanan, that lo amrin and hachi, im kain posak befeirush. Maybe the only time they say that there's going to be a mishapura. So lo amrin and hachi. And we don't say that. We don't say that here there's a difference, but rather ella im kain Maybe therefore, and then we shouldn't say this for of Elohim Cain Posak Beferush Shar Hagavoa to Shokel Kahashta. And therefore, the side to say we don't have to have this, that we don't have to require him to make up in advance that he wants the lower rate. And if he doesn't make it up, that he'll take according to the higher rate. We shouldn't have to be saying that. That's the kasha on Ravina is asking on Rav Papa. Gemara answers, how can Rav Papa say that it's what our Mishnah was talking about was only in reference to the Mishapora? Right, because the original Kasha and Rav Papa is well, the money is not kind of anyway. So like, why can't he, the father-in-law, back out of that deal of the Nedunya? And he answered, no, it was just in regards to the Mishapora. So, but that meant that our Mishnah was talking about where stipulating wanting the best rate is also in regards to the Rabban. That was Ravina's Kasha. So the Gemara answers, maybe the reason why the Rabbanan over here are still requiring him to stipulate in the beginning, Dilma, that maybe the Mishnah is like going on to Rabbi. Let's see the question again. Ravina, Omar the Ravina the Rav Papa, Umimai. Why? To Rabbanan he, to Peligi Ole to Rabbi Shimon, to Omri Ma'is Lo Kanu, but Filu Hachi, and nevertheless, and that yet we're seeing that they are requiring this agreement in the beginning. At the low rate. Yet our Mishnah, even according to the Rabbanan, is saying if they didn't make that initial agreement, then they would have to take the higher rate that they at the time when he gave the money. The more answers, maybe what is happening in our Mishnah is Dilma Rebbe Shimon. Maybe our Mishnah is Rebbe Shimon. Rebbe Shimon's shita was that really Diaraisa Mois is kaina. We had in Perak Hazahav, Diaraisa Mois is kaina, and therefore, when the Lokeach had given over the money to buy some produce, he was immediately kaina, even though he wasn't moshach the produce. And it was later the Rabbanan allowed the moicher to back out. They never allowed the Lokeach to back out, but they allowed the moicher, according to Rabbi Shimon, to back out on the condition, but he would still get a mishapor if the moicher would back out. The reason he allowed the moicher to back out because there was no mashicha. The only one that was really held to the fact that Moises Kaina is the Lokeach that gave the money. But the Moicher, who hadn't really given money, and there hadn't been any Mashiach, so they made a Mishapur if he would back out. So they allowed him to back out, but they would give him a Mishapur.
So taking the money is not considered to be anything?
No. Not the Deraisa to hold a person to not be, for example, the Lokeach could not back out because the rice it was kind already. So the Omar, so Dilma, our Mishnah, Rabbi Shimon, he the Omar Ma'is Kainos money, the Moses Kaina. Therefore, since Moses Kaina, in order to be able to back out, they had to, and now when it's going to be distributed to the Lokeach over a period of time, the only way of being able to do that is when they stipulated that he wants the best rate. So then when the rate hits low, he'll be able to back out and without, because that's the way he originally gave on das. On the das in which he originally had given his money. Therefore, according to Rabbi Shimon, and that's which we are seeing in our Mishnah, when he will stipulate in the beginning that he wants the best rate, shokil kihashti, he'll be able to get at the best rate, which like in the middle of the year, wherever he sees that it dropped. Ilo posak, if he doesn't originally make that stipulation, shokil kimiyakor. That's why we would see that he would have to take kimiyakor which is implied from our Mishnah, and we saw from the case of the Nedunya. So the reason why he would take that from the beginning is Mishum Dekoni Lahu Zuze, because when he first gave the money, that's when he acquired it. And that would be Rabbi Shimon. And we could say our Mishnah is Rabbi Shimon. About the Rabbanin, however, how would the Rabbanin be going? True. While the Rabbanin would say, while the Rabbanin, Bein Posak, Bein Lo Posak, Shokel Ki Hashta. But according to the Rabbanin, they were cholik on Rabbi Shimon and said that the Mois is Buchal not koina anyway. So then, even if the person theory, yes, true, even if they hadn't stipulated in the beginning about that he wanted the best rate, at any time in the middle when he sees the best rate, he would be able to get the best rate. But he originally, when he gave the money, the person has das that he always wants the best rate, and anyway, the money wasn't koina anyway. Deraisa. People want the best rate. That's what they. Rashi says where we are in the Gemara down about 4 lines. Dilma, maybe our Mishnah, the Itzchach that is requiring us to first explain how you want that you're going according to the best rate when you give your money. Maybe that's going according to Rabbi Shimon. Rabbi Shimon to Amar Ma'is Kainos that his shita was that the money is koino as soon as it's given. V'gabi Meicher who the Tikkun Rabbanin Chazara. According to Rabbi Shimon, it was only by the Meicher that the Rabbanin said that he can be Chazer. He's not restricted from at least from Kilo Mashich Mina, because there was no Mashiach on the object. Umikabel Mishapur. However, if he would retract, he'll get a Mishapur. About Lokeach Lo Matzi Hadabe. But according to Rabbi Shimon, Lokeach cannot back out because he gave the money. Mechi Yoyev Zuze. As soon as he gave the money. Kilo Nishtana Hashar. At the point when he gave the money, there was no Shinui in Shar, that they had no reason. That lo nishtana ki lo nishtana hashar mishum hachi af ki nishtana, right? So over there, Rabbi Shimon said only the lokeh cannot back out. Because he gave money. Mechi yoyev zuze ki lo nishtana hashar. The shar didn't fluctuate. Mishum hachi, and because of this, af ki nishtana, even if it will switch, even if the shar will go down, nami hoil v'ma'is konos, because he gave the money, he will not be able to change. Lo matzi hodabe, he won't be able to back out. Halokech, masnisin dekonu lezuze, unless he had stipulated in the beginning that he wanted the lower rate. But according to the Rabbanin, while the Rabbanin the Amrei Yochol Lachzobo, even the Lokeach can go back because Mois is not kaina. Anyone can go back on it. They just afilu bishar shalom nishtana v'lo kani. Even in the giving money and expecting to get the produce immediately, the Rabbanin said that anyone can back out, right? Even shows their position stronger, because he doesn't have, even the Shah didn't even go down for them to have a reason to want to back out. They can still back out al pi Torah, even though they're according to the Rabbanin. Anyone who backs out will get a mishapura. Below nishtana, below kani, ella the kibule mishapura. Right? He wasn't kaina by giving the money, but he will, by backing out, get a mishapur. That was the Rabbanan. So now in our Mishnah, where there is a change in the market price, and he has a reason why he wants to back out, and it was anyway only given for having distributed to him over time. He wasn't expecting to get the produce all at once at the giving of the money. So Eimalach, then the Rabbanan could theoretically say, The Mishapur Nami, like that, there wouldn't even be a Mishapur for someone who backed out in a case like this. But few low pirash, and even if he didn't explain in the beginning, the Rabbanan could hold that there wouldn't even be a Mishapur because here is different. So that was what the Gemara saying. Maybe this Mishnah is going to, according to Rabbi Shimon, but according to the Rabbanan, maybe they wouldn't have this requirement to stipulate in the beginning of the transaction that you want the best rate, and according to them, even if they didn't stipulate and he backed out, there wouldn't be a Mishapur. So the Gemara says, "Aval Rabbanan bein posak bein lo posak shokil." He take the best rate. Because the person always goes into the deal wanting the best rate. Maybe you could just say, maybe when Rabbi Shimon said going to be a mishapur for the moicher that will back out, will be only when there's one shar, when we're dealing like in the case where he gave money, expects to buy the object immediately, and there's only one rate being spoken about. Even though I'm a Rabbi Shimon b'chad tara, when there's one shar, maybe there, when the person has no reason why he's backing out, and we can't say, because true, even Rabbi Shimon would agree that a person goes into a deal wanting the best rate. So maybe when there's only one rate, so he has no reason to be backing out. He doesn't have the excuse. I went into the deal originally for the best rate. So maybe there, the moicha that would back out would get the mishapura. But maybe Rabbi Shimon would agree that when you have two sharim, like our case in our Mishnah, where the price later, it was for distribution over time, and the price later went down, maybe Rabbi Shimon would agree that the person could get the better rate. Even though Amar Rabbi Shimon b'chad tara, betrayed tare, mi Omar, how do we know that Rabbi Shimon meant his shita, that only the moicha will get a back out and get a mishapura? Two sharim, maybe his shita is different. Mi Omar, lo tema, right? Mi Omar. So now we are trying to prove that Rabbi Shimon will be machalik between the two cases. Lo tema hachi, to differentiate. Rashi, in the wide lines of Rashi, 4 lines down, if you don't say to Modi Rabbi Shimon, trade tare, if you don't say that Rabbi Shimon agrees when it comes to two rates that you can get out of can back out, not have a mishapor, you can back out. The moicher who would back out, or the lokeach, we'll see. Te'ilo tema d'moide Rabbi Shimon b'trade tare. The lokeach, here we're talking about the lokeach, that the lokeach can back out. Yochel lach zabo v'kabel mishapor. He could back out. He would get a mishapor. If you don't say that, that's what he's suggesting here, that maybe when Rabbi Shimon said that a lokeach can't budge, he can't get out of a deal once he's given the money, maybe that's only when there's one shah. But if there's two shah, maybe there he would agree that he could back out of the deal and get a mishapor like the meicher can. That shita of Rabbi Shimon. So then we won't find a mishapora by the lokeach ever. The mishapora, the whole concept of mishapora will only be applying to the moicha ever. So mishapora b'lokeach, the Rabbi Shimon leisle, there won't exist a mishapora by a lokeach. If we wouldn't say this mahalach in Rabbi, that he's mahalach between two sharim, or one shar. And that's problematic. Maybe you'll say, yes, what's the problem with that? So that's the way Rabbi Shimon holds. He only holds with mishapur for the mocher and not for the lokeach ever. So if you'll say like that, we have a problem with that, because we have a brisa that says, "Va'atani," we learn in the brisa, "Mikol makom." This was Rabbi Shimon speaking. It was earlier in our sector here. Rabbi Shimon held, "Mikol makom," a person who would person is allowed. Anyone is a makom kach halacha. So Rashi in the 5 lines down, wide lines down. V'atani makom kach halacha. Rabbi Shimon Kamala. It was Rabbi Shimon saying this, but Perak Hazal. He was referring to that really then this was based in Kanama of a person from backing out of a deal. I don't know. Velo Shana. I said, Makom, love. Latanya, the first wide line in the Gemara. Latanya, Makom, that was Rabbi Shimon. Kach halacha. About Omer, the Chachamim said, true, you can back out, but there'll be a Mishapara. Mishapara. This, the exact case that Rabbi was being referred to over here, I don't think it could have been talking about the Lokeh can just back out because it was derisa. Moses kind of derisa. He was referring to something else, but they were referring the case, whatever the case they were referring to, that in that case, anyone could back. You could always back out. And the Chachamim added, well, that whoever will back out, however, will get a mishapar. So my makom makom. What did Rabbi Shimon mean that when he said makom makom, anyone can back out? Love the low shana lokech below shana mocha. Isn't it obvious that what he meant was that either one can back out, and that and when the Chachamim then added that whoever will back out will get a mishapar, mikabel ole mishapar. So then we do see that according to Rabbi Shimon, he holds both the moich and lokech in some extent. So then, how over here? So therefore, it's a proof that he has to be allowing the lokech, in our case, when there's two sharim, to back out. And then you would have them. Rabbi Shimon, so that's true. When Rabbi Shimon said that the lokech can never back out, that was when there's one shard. The lokech cannot back out because Moses is kaina. The only one that can back out is the meicher, but he will get a mishapur. When did Rabbi Shimon imply that it become makom, that everybody can back out, and the understanding is both the meicher and the lokech? That is in the case where there's two sharm. Then even lokech can back out, but he'll get a mishapur. Shimon said bechad tara, betray tari lo amar. He didn't say his din that the lokech cannot back out when you have two tarim, two sharm. Amar le Rav Acha b'rei de Rava le Rav Ashi. You could learn out going back to the case of the Nedunya, therefore, that he said he should be paying. Why didn't we allow them? Since Moses is not kaina, so Rav Papa said you shouldn't back out because of the mishapura. It was over time. So then even the lokech, the father could have backed out. He would have had a mishapura, but he could have backed out. Well, that's what Rav Papa said anyway. You could have just learned that Rashi in the wide lines of Rashi down on 5 lines with Tepukle, just learn it out. To ain kan, that here in the case of the Nedunya, for someone to back out of the deal, the father-in-law to back out, ain kan mishapur. etzalokeach nedunya. The person buying the nedunya. Zu this nedunya. Why not? Taha shliach, because the son-in-law was just the shliach. Shavia shel beis chami. He was a shliach. The one gave the money was the father-in-law. The one doing the transaction was the son-in-law. Asuhu shliach. The father-in-law made him a shliach. V'chamiv chayzebo. And it was who was the one that backed out? It was the father-in-law. So the one backing out, the one was the father-in-law, and the one how can it wasn't in the hand of the son-in-law to do anything about it because the father-in-law backed out of the deal. So why should the son-in-law get a mishapah? Why should the son-in-law get cursed? You can't say that he's going to get the mishapah. Love bar kabule mishapor. He's not a person that can receive in this case the mishapor. Who? Why? Because he has a taina. He could say, "I wanted when I sent in the shliach, I want the shliach to make my matzah better, not to ruin my matzah." And as soon as he didn't stipulate in the beginning that he wanted the best shar, that was ruining my matzah. And at that moment, he becomes not my shliach. And therefore, the father-in-law wouldn't get he didn't have any part in the transaction at all because the shlichus would be batal. Therefore, he wouldn't get a mishapor either. So the Rashi continues, Dematzi Omar, Hayalecha lifsaik kishar hagavah. You, the son-in-law, the shliach, should have made that stipulation in the beginning that you want the best rate. L'tikune shidasicha. I sent you for my benefit. V'lola abosi, not to make a matzah worse for me. Ubidavar ivus. In any case where the shliach is making a matzah worse for the mishalech, b'ma shahaya ola matzah in an area where that he should have been improving the situation, lo nase shlucho. It's not considered that he did his shlichus. So that's the Gemara is saying the tepugle that there should be no mishapora in the case of the nedunya. The shliach shavi, he made him a shliach. He made him a shliach. So therefore, Amalei, B'tagra, Dizavin, Umizavin. The reason there's a mishapor is because B'tagra, Dizavin, Umizavin. Because there's a mishapor because the father-in-law dealt directly with the seller and then just sent his son, or the son dealt directly was the one negotiating. Rashi says that. Rashi, about 7 lines down in the wide lines. B'taga dezavin umizavin lo shliach nas. He didn't make the son-in-law shliach. Elahu posak im chasno. He just made chasano. He made agreement with his son-in-law. The chasano posak that he would get him their goods, and the son-in-law went to the merchant posak ima acherim with somebody else, mushtacher, and did the deal.
What do you mean with somebody else?
With the seller. He was going to try to get the best deal he could. Maybe he was going to take some of the money if he could get a better deal. If so, then it wasn't the father-in-law, Imo. That was one case. One case was that he just made up. It was really the son-in-law that was totally responsible for everything, and therefore it's like therefore if the father-in-law should get a mishapor because the son-in-law became like the seller. The son-in-law would just provide for him what he needs, and the father-in-law is like he becomes like the seller. So for the father-in-law to back out, it's the father-in-law's problem that he didn't stipulate in the beginning that he wanted the distributed at the best rate. Another way of looking at it is or it was the son-in-law, in Cain, lo posak chomiv imo, v'zeh posak kedei lemoichra, lechomiv, v'lishtachet. That the son-in-law dealt directly with the son-in-law dealt directly with the seller, and therefore the son-in-law would get the mishapor. Either way, that was why the Rav Papa said there would be a mishapor in that case, and we'll stop here.